All right, welcome on in. This is not Chatterbox Reds. I wish it were, but unfortunately, this is Chatterbox Reacts. And what do we have to react to today? That is the departure of Nick Lodolo from the Cincinnati Reds. He will be going under the 15-day injured list due to a groin strain. I don't know how many times it has to happen, Nick. I'm trying to be calm. I try to be patient. I try to be rational with my thoughts. But every single day, I get excited. The Reds win. What do we get? What do we get following a Reds win? We lose our best pitcher. Nick Lodolo has been absolutely incredible this season, and he joins the ever-growing list of injuries that the Cincinnati Reds have suffered this season, last season, the season before that. It's just every year. Every year we get drilled by injuries. I don't know if it's bad luck. I don't know if the city is cursed. We injured Bo Jackson a long time ago. We injured one of the greatest athletes ever in this city, and ever since then, it's been nothing but heartache and pain. We lose Nick Lodolo to a groin strain. I was concerned about starting pitching health going into this season up until this point. I know Frankie Montas had a little bit of a stint when he got drilled by a comebacker, but they've been healthy, they've been good, they've been solid, and now we lose a guy who's been legitimately dominant in most of his starts this season. Nick, what are your initial thoughts on Nick Lodolo?
Yeah, this is tough. I mean, Lodolo was just looking incredible this year. This is the one injury, though, you can't use as an excuse. Like, you can use the Marte suspension as an excuse. You can even use Matt McClain, TJ Fried will go to the list. You had to expect that Nick Lodolo at some point this was a possibility. And I think the Reds were prepared for that, if it makes anyone somewhat feel better.
Yeah.
It sounds like Nick Martinez will most likely just move into the rotation. Last time he pitched was Sunday, so that gives him full rest to pitch on or not full rest, but close to full rest to pitch on Thursday against the Dodgers. Martinez has been okay. I mean, I know he's been much better as a reliever. Obviously, you prefer him there. I do think that he could be a serviceable starter. I don't think that be too prisoner to his stats as a starter versus a reliever. I think he deserves a little bit more of a chance to prove himself there or not. Reds also have a guy named Carson Spires who's been pitching really, really well down at AAA.
Yep.
So they could maybe call him up at some point to either take a spot in the rotation for a little bit or to replace Nick Martinez's role. And then Brandon Williamson, thankfully, threw 3 really strong innings in Dayton on Tuesday night, his first rehab assignment, only gave up 1 hit, didn't walk anyone, threw strikes. So yeah, we thought, hey, Brandon Williamson, he's going to have all the time in the world. Well, maybe he won't because, life continues to happen for the Cincinnati Reds.
It's incredible. Nick Lodolo, again, he had a 3.3 ERA on the season. He threw in 6 starts. He's averaging almost 6 innings every single start. He's given up, 24 hits in 36 innings of work. He's been incredible. 13 earned runs in 36 innings. The dude's been absolutely dynamite, and you lose now one of the reasons the Reds have even been hanging on for dear life at this point. The Reds have been struggling as of late. It's not a surprise to anybody, but the one positive we could all take away is that the starting pitching has showed up again and again, night in, night out for the past 3 weeks. Even as bad as the offense has been for the past month, the starting pitching's been there. We now lose that, and we go to Nick Martinez. I'm not, again, going to try to bash Nick Martinez because him, just like Spencer Steer, just like Jonathan India, just like almost half the roster, he now has to do something that he shouldn't have to do. It's not his position. It's not his job to do, to go in and start. How many starts is he at now, Nick? Do we know that? Is he at 6 starts now, 5 starts?
Nick Lodolo?
Or, Nick Martinez. Nick Martinez
I think only made 4 starts.
4 starts. It's just one of those things. And you have Nick Martinez. You brought him in because of this. He has the versatility to do this. But at the same time, you don't want Nick Martinez starting. It's just a fact. And it's an unfortunate situation right now. I think the Reds are going to be fine. They're going to fight through this the same way they fight through every other injury they have. And again, I'm just going to read these off. I know this is a Nick Lodolo centered segment, but you lose Ian Jabot. Ian Jabot is extended on the IL. Matt McClain, you lose him before the year. Noelvi, steroids before the year. Brandon Williamson, shoulder strain before the year. Alex Young, low back disc degeneration. I don't know what that means, Nick, but it sounds bad. And I go through these list of injuries. CES, injured. You had Frankie Montas gone for a couple games, injured. TJ Antone leaves, injured. Injuries happen on teams. This isn't like a new thing. There's a lot of teams in Major League Baseball that are affected by injuries to decent players. I just don't know if I've seen a team that gets wrecked, absolutely ravaged by injuries season after season after season. They've used the max number of players one can have on a franchise for the past back-to-back seasons. It's franchise records for most used players on a team. How long is this going to continue, Nick? Is this bad luck? Is this just bad luck?
I mean, most of it's bad luck. I mean, you can't really say much more other than that. I mean, you could say, oh, what are the Reds doing that is resulting in this injuries? I mean, I think most of this is just unfortunate situation. You hope that it flips and, you have a year like that. Like it very much reminds me of 2011. Reds had high expectations that year. They got ravaged with injuries. They had a lot of underperformances, and it was just a season nothing could go right. What happens the next year, 2012? They win 97 games. Why did they win 97 games? Well, largely because their starting pitching staff miraculously stayed healthy the entire year. You never see that. I think they used one other starter, and it was like for a doubleheader or something like that. So it's baseball. You have seasons where you never have injuries and everything goes right, and you have seasons where everything goes wrong. Thankfully for the Reds, they do have a guy like Nick Martinez. You're not calling up some guy that has no business pitching in the big leagues. I saw a stat on Nick Martinez's changeup is one of the top 5 pitches in baseball, according to a Stuff Pro Plus something model. So he's actually, I mean, look, he's a talented pitcher. I think he's better than what he's shown as a starter. Obviously, you'd love to have him as a reliever because that just makes your entire roster better. But if you really want something positive, Nick Martinez in spring training threw 4 perfect innings against the Dodgers. It was the Dodgers' A lineup. I won't forget it because it was like a highlight maybe of spring. Nick Martinez just went out and dominated, struck out Freddie Freeman twice in that one. So, hey, maybe it's a good thing for Nick Martinez to face the Dodgers. I don't know. You hope with Nick Lodolo, though, it's being really cautious with him. Obviously, the Reds are going to be very, very cautious with them. You hope they're being overcautious right now.
Yep.
The other positive is, look, he probably wasn't going to be able to throw a full season anyways. So maybe he goes on the IL for a couple weeks. It actually is able to extend him deeper into the year. So that's really glass half full. And I know a lot of people don't want to look glass half full, and I don't really blame you at this point. But that's all I got.
And a groin strain seems to be something that doesn't appear. I'm not a doctor. I don't proclaim to be. But a groin strain does seem like something that shouldn't be too serious. And if he needs a little rest, by all means, give it to him now, like Nick just said, and hopefully he'll be back. But that's it. Chatterbox Reacts. Nick Lodolo has been sent to the injured list, and hopefully he's back soon because, by God, the Reds need him.